it's BT with the BT Saschering GP review. Let's get right to it. You know what I'm going to talk about. I'm gonna get to Marquez. Let's go with the underclass. The underclass Moto 3. Pedro, what can you say about Pedro Acosta that hasn't already been said? This is how focused this kid. This kid is 17 now. But this is how focused he is. When he was, he was all the rage when he came back from Qatar. He was getting so many text messages and all stuff. He changed his number. He's like, it was getting distracting. As a 16-year-old, he did that. Personally, I don't think anything can stop Pedro Acosta but an injury. But they're going to Assen next week. So if he takes him to the red light district and he sees some boobs for the first time live and in person, that can do it. I mean, once a kid sees boobs for the first time, it'll ruin your life. And he'll be like, yeah, what was I thinking about? I just lost my train of thought now, just thinking about boobs. So if they keep Pedro Acosta away from the red light district when they go to Assen next week and just keep him like this, the kid is so full. He's got Marquez-like focus now as a 17-year-old. The kid is scary good. He's focused. And I think he heard the footsteps. People like, hey, what's wrong with Pedro Acosta? Even though he was getting results, I think he kind of heard people going, hey, maybe he's falling off. And I think he did this race just to show people, no, I'm still here. Pedro Acosta is the truth, but I love what Sergio Garcia does. Watch Sergio Garcia in this whole thing. He's still second. Watch Sergio Garcia. He's great. Pedro is the man, don't get me wrong, but watch Sergio Garcia. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't really know if I like Jeremy Arcoba as a rider. Jeremy Arcoba, he's that kid who, like, if you have any kids and they have a friend that comes over and you just go, I don't really like this kid. And you go, anybody see my $5? Right? And that kid leaves and goes, I'll see you guys later. And he buys some gum and you didn't have no money. You go, I think he stole my fucking money, right? That's what Jeremy Arcoba's like. He's like, well, I didn't do nothing. He's the kid that gets caught doing something. He goes, well, I didn't do nothing. And he knows good and goddamn well he did something. That's what Jeremy Arcoba is. And he knew he did whatever, and he scooted Sergio Garcia out of the way, but he got penalized for going in the green. So, but he acted like he didn't. Like, what? What'd I do? Anyway, and Dennis Fodge's got to be the most frustrating rider in Moto 3 because he kind of looks like George Michael, doesn't he? Dennis Fodge, he's got that kind of half beard going on. Like he go, I will be your father figure, put me on the podium. I will be the one who gets points this race. It's like sometimes he shows up, sometimes he doesn't. He's got to be the most, like his own team is like, hey man, anybody seen Dennis? That's what he's like. He got a podium this week. I think he won a couple weeks ago, and then he'll disappear. He'll go in the Moto 3 witness relocation program. But anyway, ride of the race, Moto 3, it got to go Darren Bender. For what Darren Bender did, he had a ride-through penalty, kept his head about him, and still got points. Props to Darren Bender. Heartbreak goes to Sergio Garcia, man. For Jeremy Arcoba did that shit to him. But anyway, he'll be back. Moto 2, it's done. Unless he gets hurt, and I hope he doesn't. Remy Gardner is on fire. He is in fuego. Props to Remy Gardner, what he's doing, and then props, man. He's come up in his dad's shadow. He had some hard crashes, hard knocks, but he is back. I think it's Remy's to lose. And let me tell you something. Heartbreak. The ride of the race in Moto 2. Ride of the race in Moto 2 goes to Cameron Bobier. He started way back in I think 26th and finished 10th. Damn. But the heartbreak goes to Raul Fernandez, and the look in his face when he came back to the paddock, that shows me he's a champion. He came back what it looked like. When the riders crash and they don't want to go back, it's like when you crash your daddy's car and he goes, Junior. But when Raul Fernandez had the look in his face, even Aki was like, hey, it's cool, man. It's cool. You'll come back next week. It's cool. He had that look of a champion when a champion crashes and you leave him alone because he's pissed off at himself more than you're pissed off at him. So, and Raul Fernandez and Pedro Acosta, they had a chance to move. The rumor is they had a chance to move up, and they said, nah, I'm going to stick around for another year, which tells me they are a champ. They want to win first and then move up to earn that shit, and you got to love that about them. So, Pedro Acosta and Raul Fernandez are the truth, and I love the fact they're going to wait. They become champions to move up. They're in no hurry. I love that, because to delay a MotoGP ride, that in this day and age, that's almost unheard of. But at the same time, I think another year Moto 2 would have helped Maverick Vinales. Speaking of which, nice transition, by the way, wasn't it? And by the way, the valuable mention goes to Sam Lowe's. What Sam Lowe's did, and I thought he was ready to go home, he kept his head about him and got the points. He's about 80 back of a Remy, but anything can happen because, you know, Remy. I mean, just the nature of Moto 2. You never know. Off season, vacation coming up, you know, he could get bit by a scorpion or a jellyfish, catch an infection. Who knows? I mean, you know, he blew his ankle out a couple years ago riding motocross, so you never know. Anyway, let's go to MotoGP. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say it right now. I don't care if you make fun of me. I cried like a little boy watching this puppy get run over when Marquez crossed. And I don't mean just way to go, Mark. I mean I was like boo. I was literally like, I was crying. I was literally yelling in my hands because, I mean, I love them all, but something about Marquez, he's in my heart. I don't know why, but I just love Marquez. I mean, the only time I cried like that before, ironically, was when Valentino Rossi, remember Valentino Rossi in Assen, when he came back to Yamaha and they thought he was done, and it was Marquez that was behind him. Remember, it was Valentino, Mark, and Crutchlow was behind him because he said Mark was doing this with the throttle, and Crutchlow was like, "What are you doing?" You know, and which I'm pretty sure Mark did that. But anyway. And Valentino held off Marquez and won that race, and I cried like a baby then. But I haven't cried like that in a long. My parents got a divorce, and I didn't cry that hard. I was like, yeah, it's about time y'all broke up. I mean, but that was kind of funny. But anyway, but it's the truth. But anyway, what Mark did and what he's been through, and I don't care if you're a fan or not, man. You had to. I mean, I'm still kind of emotional from it. If you saw me in the post-race presser, I almost cried doing that when I asked him a question. That was pretty cool, wasn't it? Anyway. So props to Marquez. He was still in pain. Like Jack Miller said it best. We got beat by the one-armed man. You know what that's like? It's like getting beat. It's like getting beat up in a fight with the drummer from Def Leppard. It's like Rick Savage beat you up. Man, I was drunk and he had a good right hook. Well, that's all he had. But he had a good right hook. He just kept hitting me, and I was drunk. I was drunk. What Marc Marquez did, he sucked it up, and even though that was his track, I don't care what anybody said. And you saw him after the race. He was holding his shoulder. You could tell he was still in pain, but he did the damn thing. And I'm not gonna lie, when Oliveira was coming and he was coming, and I thought he had him, I was like, damn, he's gonna get Mark. And Mark sucked it up, and he won the damn race with 2 laps to go. And then the last lap, I cried like a baby. I don't give a damn what you guys say. Anyway, rider of the race goes to Marc Marquez. It really does for what he did. It should go to Pecco Bagnaia. Pecco Bagnaia actually had a better race from where he started. He sucked ass, and he passed by 7 riders at the Saschering in MotoGP. So it should go to Pecco Bagnaia, but I gotta give it to Mark. Heartbreak goes to Maverick Vinales. Oh my! If you watch the post-race presser, how do you finish dead last on a factory bike and with no explanation? I love Maverick Vinales, I really do, but I have no explanation. I mean, he's got the wife and the kid, he should be happy, but he had no explanation. I'm like, Maverick, what? I mean, I guarantee if you walk into a room with him now, it'd be pitch black dark. You go, Maverick? And he's like, see, are you okay? See, are you sure? See, all right, man. Click. Somebody check on him. I don't know what's going on with Mav, seriously. Anyway, and also for penalties, I think MotoGP riders should be penalized like they do Moto3 riders. The only rider they penalize for parking on the track, basically, which what they did, which is a lot dangerous because that MotoGP riders, is Enea Bastianini. They swung for the low fruit, and that's what they got. When they should have penalized Miguel Oliveira. I love Miguel, but let's be honest. He basically parked his bike on the track. He parked his bike, did his taxes, and then he started doing some dentistry. He filled a cup of fillings. Seriously, he started polishing his bike. That's basically what he did. He didn't get penalized. That's bullshit. Because Moto3 riders are watching him going, oh, we get penalized, but they're not. You know what that's like? That's like your parents going, don't do drugs. And then all of a sudden, like if you're like us, when your parents couldn't afford a babysitter and you had to be in the same house when they had house parties, and you walk in and your parents are like, what you kids looking at? Are you doing drugs? I ain't doing drugs. I'm your daddy, boy. Don't worry about what I'm doing. I said, don't you do drugs. That's what that's like. And that's exactly what that's like. So you got to start penalizing MotoGP riders like you do the Moto3 riders. I think that's bullshit because, like, why do you guys park on the track? We learned it from watching you guys. We learned it from watching you. So anyway, they got to get penalized. Anyway, let me tell you something. Marc Marquez is 10th in the standings. He won't win it, but he's 10th. He's behind Aleix Espargaro, which is incredible considering he crashed in 3 races and he's still 10th. It's incredible. And let me tell you something. Miguel Oliveira and the KTM unit, after the break, I don't know if they're going to win it after the break. Damn, I mean, if they keep at this pace and Miguel keeps chipping away, ooh, I don't know about winning it, but he could make things in. He and Marquez could make things interesting for Fabio and Zarco. Johan Tight Shoes Zarco, he's not getting enough credit for what he's doing. Man, I'm telling you, the two Frenchmen going for the title, I think that's underrated in this championship. Two Frenchmen going for the title, and France is not known. France is known for what? The Tour de France, cheese, and what else? And they got great soccer teams, and that's it. And now they're putting Motogp on the map, and they're fighting for a title, two Frenchmen. It's incredible what's going on. So, and watch Zarco, man. When they're going to Assen, it's going to be great because Assen's anybody's race. In fact, any track is anybody's race. I can't wait. But what K-Team is doing, another new chassis coming in. So, and they finished second and fourth in this race. Ooh, Motogp is just getting better. See if I missed anything. No, I told you about how I don't like Jeremy Alcoba. Sorry, Jeremy. Yeah, but anyway, that's pretty much it. I don't like things to go over 10 minutes, but I just had to tell you how much I love Marquez, and thanks for watching and everything. And I thought the whole GP racing, that Moto3 again stole the show, but not really, because it was about Marc Marquez basically. That's what it was, about Marc Marquez show, and it was just an emotional. And even Alberto Puig showed tears. I don't think he showed tears, but even he was pretty emotional. And Alberto Puig is Frankenstein. That dude is like, I mean, seriously, he could watch kids go over the edge in the school bus and go, well, that's what happens when you don't pay attention. I was like, Alberto, those kids were going to school. Well, they should have jumped off the bus. Anyway, great racing. I give it a B+, but because of Marc Marquez, I give it an A-. It really was. It was Marc Marquez's show. Ride of the race, Marc Marquez. Pedro Acosta and Remy and Cameron Bobier, Heartbreak, Raul Fernandez, Sergio Garcia, and Maverick Vinales. Anyway, can't wait for Aston next week. You know the word. Leave a comment like you liked it, didn't like it. I don't care. But anyway, thanks for watching again, as always. And until Aston, you know the word. Bye.